Hey everyone, welcome. Let me check my mic. Looks good. And I will allow recording for everyone. Okay, cool. So today I want to make it more interactive. We're going to plug a bot into a site like we normally do. We'll be operating on the chat widget, and I'm going to actually share the link in the chat, and we're going to try just everyone engaging with it. So we have a lot of test data, and we're going to test with Anthropic just to see how things shake up with Anthropic and then diagnose it. And then we will, if we have time, run it with OpenAI as well so we can talk about some of the differences. And when we do that, I'll be testing some of the new features like auto off on manual message and the always aware. So it'll be fun. I already got the snapshot loaded into an account. So let me share this screen. Okay. Perfect. Has the snapshot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first of all, close out of some of these tabs. And let's go to modify bot. So once you load the snapshot, the first thing your account needs is a bot connected to it. To do that, I can pick to add one from a template, or we can duplicate an existing bot. Let's see, I'm going to add one from a template. Let's go with coaching. I'm just going to title this knowing, or just make it aware that I can delete this. Bot name Sam, 0 additional delay in the response. We're going to test with Anthropic. Now, the reason why I don't see the option to add key here, you'll see if I delete one, I can add it back. I would see models show up for Anthropic key and OpenAI key if I put my key in there. I'm not going to do that. I'm fine using credits. We'll allow multi-objective handling. We won't stop for upset leads. Let's do typos 2% of the time, break up larger messages 60% of the time, no prohibited words, and save this just to get started. Okay, so here's where I'm going to connect to an account. Okay, we're connected. And when you connect, this new tab shows up for triggers. In here, we can decide whether or not we want it to do these auto tagging features, and then some conversational settings, like leaving the conversations marked as unread. Let's turn that on so they stay as unread. And then let's allow the bot to shut off if there's a manual reply. Now, these toggles do save automatically, so notice the save didn't change. Okay, now let's come in here. Something I've noticed with Anthropic is it's more sensitive to our voice options. So I definitely don't want to pick something like friendly. Let's just pick relaxed. And then I might just leave the about the business, why the conversation's happening, how to respond. I might just leave that for now. And let's set something up that I do want to update some fields just to test Anthropic's ability to update fields as well. So let's create a new custom field. Now this is a coaching bot, so maybe a drop down multiple reason for seeking help. More income, more stability, better relationship. Just throwing some things out here. Addiction, not happy. Other. We're just throwing some things in here for our coaching bot. I'll put it in the closed bot section. Okay, I need to save this again just to bring in those new fields. Sometimes it does take time, but let's go in and set up some of our objectives. So this is a coaching bot. People are engaging via the web chat. So we need to start by getting their name. I'm going to delete this ideally first and last. Let's imagine I don't care. We're just going to delete that. So we're going to get their name, skipping it if it's already filled out for some reason. Reason for seeking help. Now, when you're doing these objectives, what you don't want to put in here is ask why they're looking for help. It's that typical little kid joke. If the goal is to ask why they're looking for help, technically when the bot asks the question, it's completed it. Like, can I ask you a question? Oh, you already did. Haha. Don't do that. The goal is to determine why they are reaching out for our help. And then maybe in here, find out more about what pains they are going through and how we can help them. Let's see if our field is here yet. No, so I'll just have to save it again to bring it in. Max attempts, set that at 3, meaning after 3 attempts at getting this, it's going to move on to whatever the next one is. And then let's do a booking to a calendar. Let me make a calendar as well, so we can test the conversational booking. Calendars, there we go. Nope. Hope we have our test calendar, just hasn't brought it in yet. So let's just save this. There it is. Sometimes when you create a new connection, it takes a little bit for a high level to send us that information. And that's a 30-minute phone appointment that we're going to have with this person. And then this should have our field. Not yet. Okay, that's fine. I won't add any knowledge items. So we're just waiting on that new field that I created to show up. In the meantime, we will connect this to a testing site. So I'm going to create a new site here. And this is a great way to show off your bot to clients. Just create a test site, web chat on the site, and they can test it out. Okay, so we have our test site. And if I go to settings, oh, let me go to chat widget first. Create a live chat widget. And we'll save that. Back to our site. Settings, chat widget. Boom. So now we have a chat widget plugged in to this testing site. Right there. Let me go ahead and click off and back onto this one. There it is. And we'll skip that if it's already filled out. Actually, no. We'll have it get it again. That way I can run some of you guys through it twice. Okay, sweet. Let's do a time zone one as well. We have people in multiple time zones. So it's going to conversationally get people's time zone before booking them to an appointment. Right here. All right. Sweet. So double check. We're using Anthropic. Awesome. So now I will come here and just say, sup. And now let's go to the CloseBot dashboard. Oh, I did the same thing that I did before. Make sure you come into automation. We draft this process message workflow just to make sure it doesn't jump in right away and start engaging with all of your contacts. That's obviously not what you want. You want some time to adjust. We need to publish this workflow. I do that all the time. If I want to refresh this screen, I can just type something into the search bar, back out. And I can see the message here. I see it's working on name. And I'm going to go up here. I see that it's operating with this model, which is an Anthropic model. And it did see sup as well. Okay. So let's see if you guys can view this as well. I'm going to share a link to this in the chat. Okay, so I shared a link to this in the chat, and I want us to just go through it. And while you guys are going through it, I'm going to stay here talking, and I'm just going to show some other features live while we're doing this. Okay, so we have stuff going on. Now, if I can adjust my screen a little bit. So I'm working with, let me pick someone. Jared. I'm going to send a manual response to Jared. Let me click into Jared. So notice now Jared has the tag AI off. Let me respond to Jared. And I'm going to send a message, and then I'm going to remove the AI off tag on Jared. Maybe I stepped in. I just wanted to say this one thing, which is cool. It shut the bot off, stopped it from doing its response, and then I'm dipping out. It did, even though I had that tag on there, update reason for seeking help to need more income. Let's come over here to the dashboard and see some of these messages rolling in. So we see some of these objectives being completed. I wonder if there's a slight lag in remove tag to response. I'm looking at this one, Jared, because I don't see that one in my dashboard. Jared, can you do me a favor and send another message? Unless it didn't actually remove the tag. Do I have the save thing on? Where you have to save it? Where are my tags? Yeah, AI off is still on there. Okay, now that tag is off. So now it did get that one. I don't know why the tag didn't get removed, but we did receive it there. And after I'm done picking on Jared, we will look at some of the other ones too. So it's working on time zone right now. And if I look at the back and forth, it sees some of the recent messages. Let's go into some other. Okay, so this one booked an appointment. Let's see how this one went. Okay, so it rebounded, booked the right time, adjusting for time zone. Threw a typo in there, it's doing its multiple messages. Sweet. We got another appointment booked. So let me go ahead now and allow people to unmute. And let's talk about what we're seeing and see if anyone has any questions or notices any issues. So if you want to come off mute, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll take you off mute and we can chat. Hey, we have Jared. Jared, if you're talking, I can't hear you. Might be me.
Sorry. Yeah, my mic was muted. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay. My bad. So yeah, I just pushed it to book a call with me, but I did get kind of a confirmation, but I'm not sure if it actually booked the call in here. So just want to see if it did that.
I see
It booked. Okay, cool.
that there was a booking. Let's go and see when it was. So it did do that.
Yeah. Okay.
7 a.m.
And I didn't catch, I must have been looking at something different. When you first turned the AI off on me, when you did your first manual message to me, that was like that got it message. I didn't catch that. So I just wanted, you sent that one right there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you could, maybe you could just give me a little insight into the back end of how that's working. So like anytime we send any manual message, that's going to turn off. Is there a new workflow that manages that, or is that all in the back end hidden?
That's all in the back end. Yeah, if you have that toggle turned on within our bot settings in that
Mhm.
trigger section to automatically shut off the bot if a manual response is set.
Okay, cool. And then one other question I had, I saw that this is updating names. Do you have like the name field updated in your objective settings on your first objective? Or is it automatically updating the first name for us as well?
When I went into objectives,
Okay, it's
I
tied there.
selected
Perfect.
name.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
That's all the questions I had. This all makes sense. I appreciate you walking us through this.
of course. Shane,
Hello.
hi.
So I think I missed the first couple of minutes of this, and my question was not exactly related, but
That's
my
okay.
bot has been fantastic. However, it's trying to direct people to the website so that they can go through and get the proposal. And it says, go to our website, www.website.com. And I'm like, how do I get it to actually say my website? Because in all the training material, it should have the right email address.
Anytime you need to know why a bot says something,
Right.
it'd never be a mystery. You click the message,
Okay.
and click over to main, and
Okay.
this is all the information it has to come up with its response. So if you see www.website.com in
Mm-hmm.
here somewhere, that means somewhere in your bot settings that's in there. Now, if you're using a template, sometimes we have things in the extra prompt field. So maybe you are using a template and you didn't go into the extra prompt area and change something like extra prompt. There might be stuff in here from our template that you might want to clear out. Now, if you click into that message and you don't see www.website.com, we have a document showing how to troubleshoot library knowledge usage to try to improve what it's bringing in. Now, keep in mind when you do scrape a website, it scrapes the website, but it doesn't scrape the URL. So it doesn't know the website that it got that information from. That website would have to be in the text of the website. Does that make sense?
The text of the website.
So if I chose to scrape this website, app.closebot.ai, nowhere on this site does it actually say app.closebot.ai. So it wouldn't know that app.closebot.ai is a website that it can share.
Uh-huh. Um, okay. I will see what I can do to troubleshoot this. I also noticed that my bot really hasn't been doing anything since July 17th, even though I should have something there. I don't really know.
Same sort of thing. Anytime your bot's not responding, we have an article that helps you troubleshoot why that is. And it's guaranteed to pinpoint exactly why it's not responding, whether that be credits are out, or maybe you just have keys selected, but your keys aren't working there, or go high level things, drafted workflows. There could be 100 different reasons, but this will help you figure out why that is. So I will share two things:
Well,
bot
I
not
found the website
responding,
thing.
troubleshooting.
I found the website thing. Thank you.
And then I'm going to share as well one on troubleshooting it, referencing your library items.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. Let's, anyone else raise hand? If no one else has questions, we can go into more testing. Okay, Michael.
Hey, Bryce.
Hey.
Um, so I know that you are going to be working on uh, reducing down to one workflow, and I'm curious just about one thing. I know kind of how most of it's going to be handled, but I'm curious, is there going to be a way to send an automatic reply kind of in the way that we would use a bot override for sending like a link if they say a keyword out to that exact channel that they're on? Or would it have to be built out with like if they're if they're on this channel, then we need to send a SMS messenger message. If they're on or you know a messenger message or a WhatsApp message, or would we have to build it like that
Yeah. So
going
you would have
forward?
to build out something similar to our last communication type updating, and the fields we already have, you would have to like manually build them, since it's 100% going to be workflow stuff then. But we just want to get as much stuff out of our snapshot as possible to make it easily for people to just, load that one, or even just create a blank workflow and then add the trigger, add the action, and CloseBot works. rather than having to understand all these workflows that they didn't build. But yeah,
Sure.
you could use what we already have.
Sure. I was just curious because I know for most cases, the bot override message is just used for that initial reach out communication. But for sending like an exact link or something like that, depending on some field updating, I was wondering if we had, if that was going to be part of that snapshot or if it
Yeah.
was something that would just need to be built.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And for anyone who's not familiar with what Michael's talking about, a lot of the updates we're doing right now are making it possible for us to drastically reduce the number of workflows that are in our snapshot. And I'll talk more about that next week when that does change. Now, when we change that, it's not going to impact anyone's build outs at all. Nothing will break when we do that. It just makes things easier. So don't hear that and worry. I know last time I did a snapshot change, people acted like the world was burning because they didn't know what that meant and they thought their stuff was going to break. So I really want to reiterate, your things are not going to break. Any questions about that? Okay, sweet. So I want to now clear all of this and delete all the contacts. And I want us to re-engage with it, and I'm going to switch it over to OpenAI. Before I do that, let's just go in. I'm going to look at some of these again. Now, you guys will all have your own little case study on your screens. I'm going to delete all these, but I just want to look at them first because when I delete them, I won't be able to see them anymore. I guess we can see them in the CloseBot dashboard. So maybe we'll just do that. And we're going to test with OpenAI. So everyone's getting deleted. And I've switched this over to use OpenAI. So now when you engage with the web chat, it should create a new contact for you. Go for it. Let's start to try it out. If anyone encounters issues with it, let me know. I've never like deleted a contact and then tried to use the same chat widget. Well, it looks like that may be a limitation of the high-level chat widget. I don't see any contacts. So everyone can use an incognito window. And let's get it rolling that way. If you go up on the top of your screen and do File, New Incognito Window, or if you're using Chrome, you can open a different Chrome session, like a different user profile on your Chrome. Either way will work. Okay. So, hey there, who do I have the pleasure of chatting with today in response to hi? So let's compare that. It's a really good comparison. Let's go back here. Hey there, who do I have the pleasure of chatting with today? Exact same prompting, everything, versus hey there resulted in, hey, welcome to Rubber Band Method. I'm Sam, one of the coaches here. Mind if I ask who I have the pleasure of chatting with today? That was the Anthropic response. Very, very different. Similar thing. Hey there, thanks for reaching out about our programs. I'm Sam, one of the coaches here. Before we dive in, what's your name? It'll help me personalize our chat a bit. Hi. So, hey there, how's it going? I'm Sam. Didn't catch your name when you filled out the form. Mind sharing it with me so we can chat more easily? So, I have found that OpenAI just sounds more, just by nature, it's more like an assistant type sounding, more rigid, more VA type voice. Anthropic doesn't have that as much. So these are just very dry responses. It would take more like stronger voice options to get OpenAI to sound more relaxed, like less rigid in its responses. Raise your hand if you have any other things that you're noticing while you're interacting with it. And we can go to your chat and talk about it. Yeah, I'll go to the voice. We just used relaxed on both of these. Now I wrote a blog comparing the two as well. And this is matching a little bit about what we saw when we ran our own comparison in this blog. So you can check it out. The pricing is a little bit cheaper with Anthropic, actually. If you use your own key, we were seeing with like a library uploaded and sizable prompting and like a good size stuff. OpenAI was costing about 0.02 per message, as low as 1 penny per message if you weren't using library references and that other stuff. But Anthropic was slightly cheaper. And that's because their lower level model, Haiku, is stronger than OpenAI's lower level model at the time. Now things have changed. We'll be adding or testing more GPT-4o mini to see if that's strong enough to use at any phase. So that pricing stuff does change really on an almost weekly basis. Okay. Let's look over here again at some of these newer ones. So it is just naturally going to be shorter, but it doesn't seem as much like it's really hearing you, if you know what I'm talking about. Does anyone else feel that way, or is it just me? OpenAI just feels like it's just waiting for its next turn to talk. Tracy.
Hey, Bryce.
Hey.
So, yeah, so exactly what you just said, that's what I'm seeing because I copied my first chat and so I've got it side by side with what I'm doing now, how OpenAI is responding now. And OpenAI, like you said, it's just kind of, it's not as human feeling. It's just like you said, kind of waiting for the next response and to just like give it to me as quick as possible in the conversation.
So you have them side by side. Are you responding the same way both times?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty close. Yeah, but just looking at the basic responses this time compared to the first time with Anthropic, it's just like it's way different and way
Which,
more. OpenAI is a little bit more cold.
yeah, that's what I feel just reading it too.
Yeah.
But that we're comparing apples to oranges a little bit because maybe OpenAI with a little bit different voice options could be made to sound like Anthropic. I guess the main takeaway is you don't want to just switch over without changing your voice options probably.
Mhm.
Like I bet if we went into OpenAI and said that it needs to be understanding and that kind of stuff, maybe it would sound more like Anthropic. I'm not sure. Yeah, good insight. What about response time, Tracy? Are you noticing any difference on response times?
Not really. Not
Okay.
really. Mhm.
One thing that I haven't mentioned to anyone, uh, something that we'll be implementing next week. Currently, when a message comes in, we do all of our prompting in a row. And what that means is if you aren't using library, you can get a response in as little as 6 seconds because it doesn't have to do that library check stage in the middle of all its other stuff that it has to do. Next week, we're changing it so that the library referencing is run at the same time as the rest of its processing. So even if you're using a library, it should cut your response time down to that minimum 6 seconds. Currently, if you're using a library, it's more like 12 to 15 seconds would be the fastest response time you could get. So that should get people on the same playing field, even if they're using our uploads section. So I'm excited about that. Steven.
Hey, Bryce, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So since we're on the response time, is there a place in there that I think there was a place in close by that shows where we can adjust the response time?
Yes, you can add response time. You can't make it faster. So if you go there, you set it to 0, the average response time is going to be anywhere between 6 and 20 seconds, depending on if it's our peak time and you're using a bunch of library items, it can take up to 20 seconds. Versus if you're using it at the low time, maybe nighttime, and you don't have any library items, as quick as 6 seconds. Adding to this would add to that time.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do recall doing that.
No, it's
I
okay.
totally forgot where that was. All right, thanks.
You're fine. There's a lot in here.
Yeah. All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. A lot of people use that for text messaging. It can be awkward when the responses come in too fast. Okay. But overall, it looks like both are accomplishing objectives really well. Both are good at conversationally getting time zone and booking appointments. So the conversational booking thing seems to work at the same accuracy for both. So that's great. But I encourage you to do some testing. Go in, try Anthropic, and maybe even share in the group if you, like Tracy, you're side by side. I'm sure people would love to see that. Go post stuff like that in the group because this is something that a lot of people aren't able to test. A lot of people test Claude and GPT-4 when they're just doing normal GPT stuff, but it's hard to find a product that allows you to pick Anthropic as your primary. And that's one of the areas where CloseBot really stands out now because we manage our own uploads. We're not reliant on OpenAI assistance, so we can use any model that we want. So go post differences between them, go post like which one's your favorite, and help everyone else learn. You guys are definitely ahead of the game by being here. And thank you for helping me test. Okay, any other last minute questions? All right, cool. Well, thanks everyone. I'll talk to you soon.